Hi guys, this is Sai Kumar Kurtivada. In this video, we will learn about onCleanup callback function which is given by Solid.js. So this is one of the utility which is used to execute some set of logic whenever you are coming out of the component or your component is in a dead state. So this will be invoked before your component is unmounted. That means it is removed from your DOM. So before doing that, we can do some sort of cleanups if you require. And majorly, this is like a life cycle of a Solid.js. It will be executed only once when the component is unmounted. And we learned about on mount. Whenever you load the component, on mount is the life cycle, and whenever you remove the component, then on cleanup is a life cycle of Solid.js. Let's understand with an example how it will be helpful for us in real time. Let me quickly jump into Visual Studio Code. Here I have an app.jsx, and what I'll do is I'll just go and create a file called as timer.jsx, and let me use scomp, which will create a timer component for us, that is a solid component, and let me use this timer in my HTML of app.js. So let me go here and just import this timer and let me save this. Now what I'll do is I'll just use const and I'll use a count variable and set count, and whenever this count is divisible by 2, then only I want to show the timer. So for this I'll just use 1 as a default timer or the count value. Now let me use a logic over here. When my count value is divisible by 2, that means equal to 0, then I want to show this timer. Let me cut this and put it over here. Let me create a button which will be helpful to update our count value. Update count, and on click, whenever user clicks on this update count, my count value should be updated with 1. So let me use a callback function over here, and let me use a count value which is a getter function and plus 1. Let me save this. Whenever I update this, my timer should be loaded. Let me go here and just reload, click on the update count. When my count value is divisible by 2, I'm able to see my timer. So let me go here and show the count value over here. So let me use a count, which is the current count of our count variable. So let me go here, reload. First time it is 1. When I click this, it is 2. That's why it is showing the timer. When I click this 3 is not divisible by 2, hence we are not able to see the timer. Till here we are clear. Now my concern is I want to go here and on mounting, that means for the first time whenever the timer loads, I want to create a set interval. And this set interval will not do anything. It's just like a consoling of my locks. So something like time or interval, and it will be rendered or it will be shown for every 1000, that is 1 second, that is 1000 milliseconds. So now whenever the timer is loaded, this console will be printed. But whenever my component is not divisible by 2, then what should be the case? Is the timer running in the background or not? Let's check that. Let me go here, reload, and for the first time the timer is not loaded. When I click this, timer got loaded, and you can see time or the interval is getting locked 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, and go on. And let me click on this one. My timer has stopped, but my interval is still loading. This is the first interval which is loading. When I click this, again it creates one more interval. That's why it is loading 2. That is, for every second it is incrementing 2 times. So you can see here 36, 39, 40, it's go on. And let me click this. The timer has been collapsed, but the timer is running in the background. So let me go and click this. It will increment 3 times now. So you can see 62, 65, 68. So every second it is incrementing the console with 3. That means it is creating number of intervals in the background, and it is running at a time. So this is not the expected scenario, and it increases the problem for our browser where the intervals are running in the background, and it may stuck our whole Chrome browser itself. So that's why what we can do is there is a method something like on cleanup. This is also given by Solid.js. So what it does is whatever the cleanups you want to do, you can clean up all that intervals or the listeners which are running in this particular component. For that sake, let me create a variable called as let interval, and I'll assign this set interval to my interval. And now what I'll do is, whenever the component is getting unmounted, then this cleanup logic should work out. Console.log of I am inside cleanup. That means whatever the cleanups you want to do, you can do over here whenever the component is unmounting. So now what my case is, if the interval exists, then I want to clear that interval. We have a method given by JavaScript called as clear interval, which will receive the reference of your set interval. The reference is interval, and save this. Now for the first time, whenever the onMount is called, this will locks our interval, and whenever I click second time, then that component will be unmounted. Before unmounting, it will execute this logic and then it unmounts. Let me go here, clear this off and reload. Now click on this, my timer started, and you can see 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and then let me click on this, it stopped incrementing the console. That means interval, the time interval which is running in the background has been stopped. Let me click on this again. So it is creating one more interval over here. That means the previous interval has been collapsed and it is creating a new interval for us. And when I click again this one, you can see here the time interval has been stopped. Let me clear this off, click on this, again the time interval starts and it's go on. And whenever I click on this, it will call our cleanup logic, and then immediately it will execute all the logics which are present in the cleanup. And mainly these cleanups are used to detach all the events, or it is used to clean up all our listeners whenever that component is useless. So here the component is useless, so that's why we are clearing all the intervals which are running in the background, and it increases the performance of your application and it will not create any crashes of your applications. Hope you like my explanation. If you like my video, like, share, subscribe to my channel for more updates. Signing off. Thank you.